Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I'm bringing you guys a new hand test and combo video on how to run Scareclaw. So this is a really cool deck that came out in like Dimension Force a few months ago, and now just got a little bit of new support in Power of the Elements a few weeks ago with the Scareclaw Lightheart. So really fun deck. I do want to acknowledge some changes that I made. So I did sort of just come up with this today after doing a few combos yesterday with this deck. And I took down the field spell down to 2 because with that new Lightheart card, we are able to just search for the field spell. It is okay to open with, but it just really hurts if you open up with like 2 of it, or God forbid 3. So I wanted to knock it down to 2 copies. That way you still have the backup. In case if you have to open up with like Pot of Desires, or if you just need another copy of it on like your follow-up turn if you're trying to beat over your opponent. So overall, I thought knocking it down to 2 was fine. So what I replaced it with was 1 copy of Emergency Teleport, and then also in the original profile, I forgot I actually left this sitting on my coffee table, my copy of Dino Wrestler Pankratops. This was the 40th card of the deck, so just wanted to get that clear out of the way. I left a comment down in the comment section of that video for the deck profile that I actually forgot the 40th card in the deck, but I actually decided to take it out now for 1 copy of Ghost Ogre. So now we're just running 1 Italy and 1 Ghost Ogre in there in place of these 2 cards. That way that the deck is just more consistent at getting out extenders, and not quite as consistent as seeing the field spell in your opening draw, which is actually a good thing because you just want to get it in your search with the fusion card, or with the new Link 1. So without any further ado, I think we are going to get on into our first combo. So basically what we are going to do is just do a quick little hand test, draw 5 cards and see what we can do. And then I'll probably just show you guys what I think is like the best opening hand, or like the god hand for this deck. So you can sort of put up the best opening board against your opponent. So we're probably good on shuffling there. So we're going to open up with an Ash Blossom, a Rescue Cat. Rescue Cat is always nice to see. A Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice and Rescue Cat together is really nice. 1 copy of Astra, just for a good extender, and 1 Pot of Desires. Okay, this hand officially rocks. This is a really good hand. This might actually end up better actually than like what the God hand is going to be. But I didn't want to like assume that every duel you're going to be opening up with like Desires and Avarice. But okay, so this is going to be really good. So we're going to start off with a Rescue Cat, and we're just going to tribute that off right away for our 1 copy of any of these Scareclaw monsters. If you feel like your opponent's got hand traps, you can go for like a different name. But sometimes I like to go for the same name that I have in hand. So we're going to go for another copy of Astra. And then we're also going to go for our Valeraphon, which helps get us into our Naturia Beast combos. So we're going to find that. There we go. So we have our Naturia Beast there. So we've got the Nat Beast, or sorry, we have the Valeraphon for the Nat Beast. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to special out our next copy of Astra. It's just really important to go into the your extra copy of a Scareclaw monster. The reason being is like if, let's say that you link away your first Astra to go into your Lightheart, and then you activate Lightheart's effect to get your field spell, and then your opponent hits you with Ghost Ogre. Now you no longer have a Scareclaw on the field, and you're going to get punished for that. So what you want to do is just have the Astra on the field. And what we are going to do now is we are going to go just for the field spell. We're going to link away, and we are going to get that search off. So again, this is why I knocked the field spell down to just being 2 copies in the deck. If you wanted, you could play it at 1, and you could even play like a second copy of... you could play a 3rd copy of Ash Blossom, or you could play a 2nd copy of Italy. I just didn't think that playing Italy at 3 was totally necessary. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to... actually, what we can do here is we do have the Primitive Planet, which can search for our Reichardt for the deck. But we also have Pot of Desires, and we are playing Reichardt at 3. So we can go ahead and activate the Pot of Desires here, and we're going to mill 5 off the deck, or 10 off the deck. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's see what we hit there. We have Called by the Grave, Veiler, doesn't really matter. 1 copy of Reichardt, another Rescue Cat. These are all totally fine hits. Our 1 Splash, our 1 Straddle kind of hurts, but we just probably don't need it. And let's see what we can draw here. We have an Effect Veiler and an Extender, which is okay. So Veiler, still pretty good to get. So what we are going to do next, the reason why I wanted to do that is because I wanted to see if off of the mill, or off of our draws rather, if we did end up getting into a Reichardt, then we could just use Primitive Planet to search for our Vis's Starfrost. So what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate our field spell. And we're just going to go for the Reichart, just because Reichart is just a little bit better than the Vis's Starfrost. So then what we're going to do next is we're going to special summon out the Reichart and activate its effect to be able to search us for a spell card. So we have our Scareclaw Arrival, which is a Monster Reborn, and we have a Splash. I think we're just going to go, and then we also have Alternative. So we're going to go for the Scareclaw Arrival here. There's always a chance that we'll draw into some of those other powerful cards as well a little bit later. So we'll just shuffle up and leave those there. We do get to draw one card after doing that. So this searches for our spell and trap, and then it also lets us draw if we have 3 cards on the field in defense position. So we drew into another Ash, so it's looking like we're pretty good on hand traps for this combo here. Next thing that we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and special out our Balone. And then going into the Balone there, we can either go into Naturia Beast or we can go into Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. I think it's just safer to go for the Gossip Shadow, just because it's nice knowing that you have that out on the field to protect you a little bit. The only problem is that with this particular hand, we do have our Pot of Avarice and we want to fill up our graveyard with stuff. But already our graveyard is, oh, no. Oh, these are the cards that I milled? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I was like, wait, why is my graveyard so full? Okay, so we have our 10 here, or our 3 cards here in the graveyard. So that doesn't really cut it for our Pot of Avarice. So it actually would be a little bit nicer to be able to, maybe we'll skip the Gossip Shadow, and we're just going to say that we got to risk it for this. So we're going to take these guys, and we're going to go for the Naturia Beast instead. That way we're going to fill up our graveyard with 5 monsters, and then we're going to go ahead and take all of these right here, and we are going to link them away for our Link 3, the Tri-Heart. Now, the thing is with the Tri-Heart is we don't want to activate its effect yet. I had a really nice comment yesterday in one of my videos reminding me that Tri-Heart actually does lock you into Scareclaws for the turn, so I totally forgot about that yesterday. But with the Scareclaw Tri-Heart, it is going to lock you into Scareclaws, so we don't want to activate his once per turn effect yet. So now in this combo here, we want to activate our Pot of Avarice. So we're going to take 1, 2, 3, probably 4. No, we really don't need the Valerian anymore. 4 and 5 monsters. We'll shuffle all those back. It's okay to leave the Lightheart in the graveyard because you can actually bring the Lightheart back from the graveyard if you end up getting Vis's Starfrost on the field. So we can try to go for that. So, yeah, one other thing to keep in mind is that with our Scareclaw Arrival here, we can bring back any Scareclaw from the graveyard. So, if it only said that you can bring back a Scareclaw level monster, then I would have definitely left one of the monsters in the graveyard. But I think that we're fine shuffling all of those Scareclaws back, and we will see we'll see what we can get here off of our draw 2. Hopefully some good extenders, and we can see what else we can get. So we're going to go for another Arrival and a Balone. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so the unfortunate thing is that we actually did use the Balone's effect. I just went back and double-checked the footage, so I am actually going to change up our combo here a little bit, just so we can see what the best route would be. So this is how we would end if we did take that risk there, and we kind of failed there. But still a pretty good ending board. We have Naturia Beast and Tri-Heart with a lot of protection with the Effect Veiler and the Ash Blossom. Like I said in the deck profile, the main focus of this deck is to like get out Tri-Heart and then just protect the heck out of him, because then your opponent like can't get your life points, they can't break your board if he's on the field, which is really good. So we are actually going to say that instead on that Avarice, we left the Balone in the graveyard. That way, because we already used his effect and stuff, so we want to have less of him in the deck. And we are going to recycle the Valerian. So we're just going to say that that's how we did it, because it is good to keep one of the level 3s in the graveyard for like the chance that you do get a rival, and we already had one arrival in our hand, so we're just going to go with that, and we'll see if it matters at all. So Balone is in the graveyard, and we'll see if we can draw into another monster. So okay, and we ended up actually just getting the Valerian, so screw us, but still pretty decent. We can just go ahead and activate that Tri-Heart there. So we'll Tri-Heart, bring back the Balone from the graveyard, and then the Tri-Heart is going to search for another Scareclaw monster. So with that, we are going to search. We already used the Astra's effect, I believe. So we'll get our Acro, and then we will go ahead and special out the Acro there. And then with that, that is basically the end of our turn. So we don't really have too much going on here, different from how that last one went. But had we instead, off of our Reichart earlier, if we had instead of adding our Arrival, if we had added our Scareclaw alternative, then we would actually have a really cool thing that we can do. So with the alternative, we would be able to set this to our field. And then on our opponent's turn, if they ended up to, if they sort of started to threaten our board and stuff, they were going for like an access code talker line or something that could just beat over our Tri-Heart and break our board, then what we could actually do is we would be able to use the Scareclaw alternative and tribute all of these guys in order to make it so our opponent can only special summon monsters in defense for the rest of the turn, which would be really cool, really funny to be able to do to our opponent. And then we would have a lot of really good stuff to bring back to the field on our opponent's turn. So that's going to do it for this combo line. It didn't turn out as amazing and as crazy as I thought it would, but our draws on the Pot of Desires and the Avarice weren't quite as good as hopeful. But still really good, still ending on Tri-Heart and Naturia Beast is still really good. And we were able to draw into a lot of hand traps instead of extenders, so it still ended up pretty darn good. So let's get on into the next combo. Alright guys, and now I'm going to show you the next combo is basically the aforementioned God hand. So the reason why I like this hand is, or just any hand that kind of looks this way, we have the one copy of Rescue Cat, which is going to get us into just like our main combos. Then we have our E-Telly just to be able to get us into whichever of the psychic monsters that we need. Or this could just be any of the other like extender guys. This could literally just be another Scareclaw monster and it would just work totally fine, but I just kind of want to show the diversity of this deck. We have one copy of Scareclaw Arrival just for another extender. Our one copy of Astra, again, this could be any of the Scareclaw monsters, and then either Reichart or Starfrost for this last spot. We're gonna go with the Reichart here just to sort of change it up. And then when we activate our field spell, we're gonna search for the Starfrost. Or again, you can change it up and you can if you have Starfrost in your opening hand, then you just search for the Reichart. Or if you have like these guys, then instead of the Astra, then you just like search, or instead of searching for Reichart, then you just search for any of the Scareclaw monsters. It just kind of can work a whole bunch of ways. So we're going to just put this back into the deck. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off by normal summoning out our Rescue Cat. We're going to use Rescue Cat's effect, tribute that off in order to special summon out our one copy of the Valeraphon. And then, like I said, I like to go for one of the monsters that we already have in hand. So we're just going to special out our extra Astra. The reason why I like this, if I haven't mentioned this already, is because like when you do use your Reichart's effect and you get that extra draw card, it's nice if you like use the draw and you end up drawing into another extender like your Balone. But if you end up accidentally drawing into like your extra copy of Astra, because we do have 3 copies in the deck, so let's say instead of Balone, you draw Astra, well, you already use this Astra's effect to special summon from the hand, so it's good to like just get this guy out, that way you thin the deck of all of your, or of another copy of Astra, that way like you can draw into a Balone or an Acro later. So we'll shuffle these guys back up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to special out our extra copy of Astra right there. The reason why you want to do this is because then, like I was saying before, if your opponent has Ghost Ogre, then you have an extra copy of a Scareclaw on the field. That way, like if you have other Scareclaws, you can extend later. So we're going to take this guy in order to go into our copy of Lightheart, and then Lightheart will search us for our field spell. So you do actually have another route that you could go here. If your opponent did have like Nibiru, you would, instead of going for the Lightheart right away, you would want to use like E-Telly and then go for your play into Bamboozling Gossip Shadow in order to turn off your opponent's Nibiru. And you can do that. Gossip Shadow is going to be your 6th summon, I believe. And that is like if you just open up with your Rescue Cat. So like there's other ways, again, that you can get into Bamboozling Gossip Shadow before your 6th summon. Like you could use E-Telly, summon a guy, and then if you had like another Psychic Tracker, you could special summon that other guy, and then go into Gossip Shadow and stuff, even without using your normal summon. So there's totally other ways you can go around it, but like I was saying, it's just nice to be able to have that as an option. For this particular route, we're going to just assume that our opponent does not have Nibiru, and we're going to go for like a different route that just can end on like a little bit of a stronger board. So we have these guys out on the field. What we are going to do next is we're going to activate our Primitive Planet, and then go ahead and activate that to be able to search for our Reichart. Again, this is where you go for Reichart or Starfrost, doesn't really matter. And then we are going to go ahead and use the Starfrost to tribute off our Leichhardt, or our our Lightheart, just needs to be able to target one monster you control with a different type and attribute, destroy that monster, and then special summon this card. So we will go ahead and get rid of this and special summon the Starfrost onto the field in defense position, and then go ahead and special summon out the Reichheart, using Reichheart's effect on summon to be able to search for another spell or trap card. So this is where we're going to go for our 1 copy of the Scareclaw alternative. And again, if like there's just different ways that this route can go. So if you drew into alternative in your opening hand, then you go ahead and add the Arrival as your extra card. And speaking of extra cards, we get to draw 1 card now that we have 3 or more monsters in defense position. So we will draw it, and we get an extra aggro. We're going to see if we can do this full combo line without this extender, which we should be able to. This will actually come in really handy later when we get to the alternative, but you don't need it. So this combo does work without doing that kind of stuff. So what we are going to do next is we are actually going to use the Lightheart's ability to be able to revive itself from the graveyard as long as you have a Viscous Starfrost on the field. You can only use that effect once per duel, but you want to use it if you can. And then we're going to go ahead and take the Lightheart, the Reichheart, and then just any other monster on the field that you can go ahead and use, or except for the Valeraphon. You want to leave the Valeraphon alone. We're just going to get rid of the Starfrost because we can always bring Starfrost back later with the Scareclaw Arrival, which is really awesome. So we're going to go ahead and link into the Triheart. Now, the important thing here with Triheart is you need to go into Triheart, but not use his effect. Like I was mentioning before, he is going to lock you into Scareclaws, so it's really important to make sure to leave him on the field, but not use his effect. Luckily, it does not trigger on summon. It's just a once per turn effect. So what we are going to do next is we are going to take these 2 guys to go into our Naturia Beast. We'll just put Naturia Beast. We could really put it anywhere we want, so we could put it over here so it's like away from the zones for the Triheart. And then we can go ahead and activate that Scareclaw Arrival, bringing back our copy of Viscous Starfrost from the graveyard. And then lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to use our last extender to go for the E-Telly. And E-Telly, this is why we like to play the diverse amount of the Psychic package. So we have the Wheelator, but we're going to go for the non-tuner, the Tracker. I would almost consider playing a 3rd or a 2nd copy of him, just because then you would have another non-tuner. But then we can take these guys. In order to go for our QB Shen Shen, just needs a tuner and a non-tuner, and we have 9 stars. So we're going to go ahead and put Shen Shen on the field as well. Now we are out of all of our non-Scareclaw plays, so we're going to activate our Triheart here, and we are going to use Triheart to bring back our Astra from the graveyard, and then along with that we are able to add one of our other monsters. So, and like I was saying, here we have our Acro, so we want to add our Bellone. We have not used Bellone yet, so we will just double check the graveyard. Yeah, Bellone has not yet come out of the deck. So we will go ahead and use Bellone's effect to special summon himself out onto the field. And then here's where you are totally set up for your Scareclaw alternative. But as I was mentioning before, we did have the Acro, so Acro is an extra extender which we could have used here. So we can special out Acro to the field as well. And then with the Scareclaw alternative, we would be able to tribute these 3 guys to lock our opponent out of doing like link summoning and stuff. They just can only special summon into defense position. So a really cool thing about this is like having the Acro is a good bonus, so you don't have to tribute your Scareclaw Triheart, but it is not required. You could still just end on your board like this, and then if you like, instead of for your Reichheart draw, if this was like your Effect Veiler, that's totally fine as well. And then you have Effect Veiler to kind of protect your other cards on the board. But drawing into that Acro is still really cool. You can go ahead and do that. Set your alternative, and then on your opponent's turn, you just go ahead and blow all of these useless guys up. And now your opponent is locked out, and they are just totally screwed there. So anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I was saying, this is just a really cool deck, really cool big boss monsters to go into. These are generally like your 5 monsters that you're going to be going into the most, with the Triheart, the Lightheart, Gossip Shadow, Shen Shen, and Naturia Beast. But you do just have a plethora of other stuff you can go ahead and play. You can play like the Zeus package and all that other stuff. So the extra deck has not changed at all since my deck profile. Also being able to use IP Masquerena and Avermax and all that stuff. So a lot of really cool stuff that this deck can do, going into some really strong plays. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys like this one, and definitely go ahead and check out the deck profile. like I said, all I did for changing from the deck profile is, one, I forgot to have the Pancratops in my deck profile, which was crazy. I haven't done that in a long time. And I took out one of the extra copies of the field spell, knocking it down to 2 just because it's so easy to get into the field spell. And then I went ahead and I added in the Ghost Ogre and that E-Telly, just one copy of E-Telly, just to help get more into those psychics a little bit more consistently and just have extra extenders. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Again, hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't already. I would really appreciate it. We will catch you guys for the next deck profile and combo tutorial. Peace.